So I'm looking forward to our first presentation. Let's welcome Gerd Güldenast from hmmh and Dirk Schroeder from from Möbel.de. Oh, thank you, Daniel, for the kind introduction, the friendly introduction. And of course, you explained what is going to happen on this stage. So maybe we briefly introduce ourselves and explain why we are experts on furniture. Of course, for Dirk, this is natural because he works for a company called Möbel.de. For me, it's probably a bit more surprising. So let's first explain who we are. Well, good morning. My name is Dirk Schroeder. I also have a fancy title like Daniel. I'm head of sales cooperation and B2B marketing. At Möbel.de, I'm working with associations, multipliers, and also providers like hmmh, and I'm also in charge of B2B marketing, which means whatever we communicate to the outside world, or what you can read in the trade press, is something that I have processed or I have seen. We're happy to see that so many people are interested in this topic. You know, many years ago we couldn't have conceived of buying furniture online, but at the time you needed quite a bit of imagination. But we have seen that a lot has happened on this market, and I think it's not the end yet. Let me start by introducing you to Möbel.de, one or two charts to show you what we're doing. But let me ask you, who of you know Möbel.de? And those of you who've shown me a show of hands, do you know what Möbel.de does? Okay, that's a bit embarrassing. So let me explain how Möbel.de works. We don't sell furniture. We simply help to sell or to buy furniture. That is, we bring consumers to the market, be it the manufacturer, be it the retailer, and we kind of liaise between them and consumers. So the objective of Möbel.de is to present the customized product to each user or customer, and then forward that to the online shop, or then actually get the customer to go to a physical store. Möbel.de has about 5 million people visiting the website who are interested in interior design. We have about 3 million products, and 250,000 of them are actually local products, which means we are not only dealing with a pure online business, but of course the brick and mortar business is important for us as well, and that's why we link the physical business also with the online business. So when you surf on Möbel.de and you see a little flag on the product, you know the product is available close to your home, and you can go to the store proper and actually try the furniture and have a first-hand experience. We also have about 15,000 POS addresses on our website, so these are specialists for interior. We have 200 gold partners, which is added value, for instance, local products. And we have about 1,000 interior experts. That could be anyone, interior designers, architects, people who are simply interested in interior design. They can publish articles, post pictures. They can actually describe certain pieces of furniture or shops. Who are our customers? Well, they are manifold. We have multi-channel dealers, that is dealers who are selling their products both on and offline. We have classical online shops who just sell furniture, decoration online. And we have the brick and mortar business, the physical stores. These are stores who would like to have like a digital business card. They want to present their products online. And we have interior experts And the next one is becoming increasingly important, brands and vendors who want to showcase their products on our website. And of course, we want to try and present this link between the brand and the dealer. So over to you, Gerd. A few words about hmmh. Maybe I need to explain that. It's a wonderful acronym, but what is hmmh? It's basically one of the old hands of e-commerce in Germany. We started with the first online shops. We started with otto.de. We are now a cross-platform business. We are working in different industries, across different shops. We believe in Shopware and the future of Shopware, and we have been staunch supporter of Shopware for years, but we've grown beyond e-commerce, and we call ourselves an agency for connected commerce. These are our disciplines, so it's not only focusing on e-commerce and online shops. So we are part of the Plan.net group. This is a big network where we do quite a bit in the creative business as well. Now, what's our association with furniture? We actually have the same customers, Zurbrücken, for example, a big retailer, but we also have Otto, where we use product data for the furniture market. Actually, we have a customer in Kuwait and actually assist them in trying to sell their products online as well. So we have, in late 2017, early 2018, we said that, furniture and e-commerce is a story full of misunderstandings, and it's something that we need to explore a little more. And we, wondered, what should we do? What can we do? And we want to illustrate the user journey. How are people looking for furniture? Well, of course, the customer journey is important for the, brick and mortar business, but also for the online business. But it's even more important when you take both together. This is what the customer journey looked a few years ago. This is what it looks like now. Basically, it's an attack by Real Madrid via the goalie, the midfielder, and then Ronaldo is going to score the goal. So let's say we're interested in a box spring bed, 1.8 meters wide, white color. Of course, we do a bit of online research. We go to the traditional shop and then we buy it. Today, the customer journey is much more complex. There are so many more touch points where you learn, what can you do, what does the product look like, what kind of versions are there, what kind of manufacturers or vendors are there. Today, the customer journey looks more like this. This is an attack from the Hamburg football club. We come from Hamburg. Unfortunately, we just relegated, and because that's how they played football, and that's why they ended up in relegation. So you see the number of touch points here. Well, let's say you want to buy a new bed because either you don't sleep very well, you have back pain, or you are going to relocate. And then the journey starts, which compared with the earlier days, it takes much longer. In the past, you just went to a store, you bought something, and you were happy about your new bed. Today, you have this idea about a new bed, and it takes weeks before you actually buy a new bed. And all these individual waypoints, i.e. you search on Google, you read about the quality of mattresses in online portals, what is important. Then you go to a store, you actually obtain more information, get some advice, then you look in your GPS or route planner to see where there might be other stores. It might well be that you had a very good sales assistant and you decide to go for the product right away, or you may have doubts, you want to compare prices. Maybe you do that while in the store, you do it on your smartphone, and you look for bargains elsewhere. So this is possible with smartphones, and it's fairly easy and fairly straightforward. Then you visit an online shop and then you buy the product. Either you buy it online or you buy it in the store proper. So for an online provider and as Möbel.de, this customer journey is important to understand for us because it helps us to understand what we need to do in future. We need to be online, we need to be mobile. Of course, we need to give retailers and dealers a large number of features so they can be successful in their business, so that they get the right support for their business. Over to Gerd again, because he's going to explain a bit more about the design of the study and the results we arrived at. The question is, what is the significance of each of these touch points? So we're in the transitional phase between online and offline business, a combination, and the generation and the change in purchasing behavior. What does the behavior look like across the demographics? And we interviewed about 1,000 consumers who've actually bought a piece of furniture over the last 3 years. So that was one of the prerequisites of the study. We asked them, how did you shop for new furniture? Did you shop online, offline? Where did you do your research? Which media did you use? And maybe you also took a forward-looking approach, what kind of media, what kind of, consulting products you would use, and do you have some experience with some of them already? Of course, we wanted to provide better consulting services to our customers. But let's take a look at the general magnitude of the online furniture industry in Germany. We have many players who wanted to start their online business. For instance, mattress providers who have their universal mattresses where you can actually return the goods after 100 days. Even ranging up to big internet startups who have been in the market since 2011 and now have annual sales of 240 million euros, home24. And you think it's amazing how they grew to 240 million. So this is a player from Unna. It's a furniture retailer, Saarbrücken. They have 5 stores. They have turnover of 370 million euros. Of course, they didn't experience the same growth rates as home24, but they are more of a historically grown business. So home24 does have some potential to grow further, to actually catch up with such big players. Let's take it a level further. Otto, for instance, in the segment of furniture and living, they achieve sales of 911 million. So that's about 4 times the turnover of home24. So the biggest furniture dealer is actually Otto, a traditional mail order store, and it's Otto, even though it's not exactly a sexy company. But let's take a look at this one. The big players, XX Lutz, they have 4 billion in turnover. And we're only talking about Germany. And IKEA, 4.8 billion million euros. IKEA has only about 304 million euros in online turnover. IKEA is also sort of a spearhead when it comes to introducing new technologies, click and collect, for instance. So about 10% of their online turnover is actually, 10% is click and collect turnover. People really wonder, is it profitable? And IKEA actually published that out of the 304 million euros in online turnover, 40 million are generated by click and collect. And regardless of whether it's Saarbrücken, Otto, XX Lutz or IKEA, they're all old hands of the industry. For Otto, its online business is not new. They are traditionally a mail order company, so they could adapt quite easily. XX Lutz has a brick and mortar business and online business, But you can see that the online market is really kicking off. Home24 has been in the market since 2013, and they generate turnover of 240 million euros. This clearly shows you the significance of online business, especially for the furniture industry, and I think this will become even more important in future. When you look at the development in the industry, there are so many niche copycats who are trying to get a piece of the cake. It's amazing how this market is really, how dynamic this market is. Let's take a look at traditional furniture dealers. Saarbrücken has 5 outlets, let's say 50 million for each. Then I would say Möbel 24 would be able to operate 3 stores. Of course, there are also furniture stores, but we can say that there is a very dynamic development in the business. And this is also illustrated by our study. We asked people, when you last bought a piece of furniture, when you recently bought a piece of furniture, what did you do? How did you tackle that? So when we look at the user journey, we see that there is offline research and offline purchase. 88% that this is a method with which they identify. Only 12% that this is not the way they go about it. So this is still the dominant user journey. And then, compare that to the people who do online research. We saw that when we looked at the customer journey. And we see research online, purchase offline, these ROPO effects, so they still buy from physical stores. We've done a study, and we say that about between 6 to 8% of furniture sold in Germany is sold online. All the rest is sold by brick-and-mortar stores. This is going to change in the next 4 to 8 years, so the 6% online business will turn into about 20%. Nevertheless, of course, we still need the physical stores, and I think this is not going to change that fast. Absolutely. Look at the people who do research online and shop online. We said 66%. I'm going to tell you how do you find the results of this study online. But the study showed that these 66% show a different spread. 66% of the people said that we only do online research and purchase online. So I think there's still a connection to offline, and to do research offline and buy online. This is the smallest proportion, only 54%. So that's not that pronounced. My wife has a background in the furniture or design industry, and so for 20 years. So the people, she's category 4, she actually does research offline and buys online. Everybody hates this type of consumer, but this is also a good opportunity for the physical stores who can say, okay, they're doing their research offline and then they're purchasing online. There's some potential how we can win these customers. If they come to the store, I need to make sure that they remain in the store and would finally buy from the store. The first big conclusion is that the furniture business is actually ideally suited for this ROPO approach, do research online and purchase offline. And that's still the most dominant type. And we've looked at the turnover of IKEA. IKEA has only 10% of its turnover by online business. And IKEA is a player who's actually focusing on its online business. If a big player who has a large number of outlets only has 10% online business, that's quite a conclusion. I don't know whether they really want to do that. Of course, they might say, okay, I'm IKEA, people come to the store, and I'm quite happy with 10% online business, and the rest should be generated by the stores. because I believe that people would buy even more once they come to the store. So that's probably something that IKEA can live with quite well. Well, IKEA, okay, people come, to buy the Billy bookshelf, and then of course they will also eat a hot dog or buy some candles. So we have the ropo effect in different industries. That's actually, these are figures for the American retail business. They claim that 56 of all purchasing decisions offline are actually influenced by online research. People do their research online most of the time and then buy offline. And one of our hypotheses is that, if dealers don't make it possible for users to provide high-quality online research facilities, then they're kind of damaging themselves. Why would people go to their offline business if they don't provide well-presented online information? Now, what are the aspects that are important to people when they buy furniture? And this is actually the same for all channels, of course, the appearance, the quality, the functionality, the price, and these are the dominating criteria. We can see that. And then the most recent trend, branded products, is no longer a focus on that. And we thought, what can be supported by online information? Not necessarily everything. Of course, we can show the appearance, the look, the quality, the functionality, and the price. And of course, it's not going to be as first-hand as in the store. But there is technology that will support this. And then it's possible to actually present that online. We will not create the same experience, of course, but we'll show you how we support that. So why do people buy online? What are the 4 most important reasons why people buy online? So the first, number 1, is that people buy online because it's cheaper. It's the best price. Whether this is true or not, at least that's their perception. People believe that they get the best price when they buy online. Well, price is important when you try to fill in a questionnaire, and there are specific prices, then they would just tick off that box. But if you don't give them a price, the price is not really that important. And it's, of course, convenient to order from home. You can buy at any time. You have probably better choice. You don't need to drive to the store. Fast delivery, I don't know whether that's really true, or you just look for the dealer where the furniture is on stock. But these are actually classical online customers. But we also posed the question the other way, why do you shop offline? Or you don't really need to do that. Maybe not, but there are still benefits to that as well. Well, in the store, you get different sales information. You have the opportunity to touch the product, to try the product. You may look at different versions. And this is where the online presentation is a bit more limited. Of course, there are new technologies which you could use. But offline, it's much more first-hand, and of course furniture, it's a very emotional subject, or it's an emotional product, and that's why it's nice to look at and try it. But there are certain elements or criteria which are difficult to present online. Of course, you want to lie on the mattress to see what it's like, and you want to sit on the sofa or the bar chair simply to see, whether the support is convenient or comfortable for my legs or not. So, and you can't actually present that online. You can actually present products, videos, 3D, surround views, etc. But I think this will always be a benefit of the offline business. Talking about the mattress, of course, this was part of the customer journey. You've probably seen this on television or online, or you've read about it, whether it's Caspar, Eve, or Emma. Nobody could imagine to order a mattress online 5 years ago because that's a very individual product. But we've learned our lesson. It works. Caspar, it's an American product. They have their headquarters in New York. And they sell these mattresses quite differently than the brick-and-mortar stores. In the past, the vendors tried to make their product as complex and complicated as possible to stand out from their competition. Caspar says, no problem, we're all equal, so everybody gets the same mattress. So it's not so much as a classical furniture product, but it's a marketing product. So they send so much power to the market and have so many possibilities to reinvent this product. So it does work very well online, and that's why many people buy it. And I think this is also a statement to the mattress vendor to try and reduce the complexity of their products to become more comparable and probably to do a bit more market campaigning, if you like.
So the next question is, how can we do this in terms of quality? We would like to show one example that products are very complex. We know this from hmmh because we are preparing a lot of data for Otto and in furniture in general every year. So these are the figures that we're preparing, that we're working on every year. So in the end, we can get such a visualization. Of course, it's arguable whether that's the best or worst case, but it's just an example to show what kind of data we have to process. Categorization, product images, evaluation, texts, structures, what's integrated here, the types of material that's being used. So in the furniture area, every product has various specifications, the sizes, colors, user-generated content will be included as well. So there are a lot of things part of the data. That's just for Otto, but when you have your own, when you have a portal like Möbel.de, you have 3 million products. How do you work with the data? How can you be found in your portal? So on the first question, how do our customers work? How do they research? Which criteria, which attributes, which data do they use? So usually customers use very generic terms. So they look for a sofa. They don't even look for colors. They just introduce the keyword sofa. And the more specific we have, the more in-depth details we have about it, the more filters he will use in our pages. So they have a very generic search in the beginning, and depending on the specialization of their details, he will then come step to step closer to the product that he was looking for. He will then leave Möbel.de and meet a shop like, or go to search for a shop like Otto. To be successful on a portal like Möbel.de, you have to understand our structure. So how do online shops work? Our online shops distribute a data feed to us with all the data needed that are contained for one product. And according to a dynamic beat algorithm, the products are then being presented in certain categories. So generally, the consumer searches for one product. So 80% of all our users are search for one specific product. And the second group of people searches for classification and then for a brand. But there are 300,000 people per month on Möbel.de who are looking for a product or for a brand. And 13%, that might be 700,000 people sitting in front of their PC to search for a retailer, local retailer. So product, brand, and retailer do play more important roles. We shouldn't take a look selectively, but take a look at the individual categories. That's how it works. That also comes together with our study. That's what we saw, that retailers and brands were not the most important criteria when deciding on a certain product, but the real individual product was a reason. or sofa probably was a keyword that they searched for. And then in the end, the brand plays a role as well, because many people have a clear idea of what their product should be produced, have been produced by. Let's take a look at 2 or 3 things. So product presentation is very important, and we asked ourselves, what are the opportunities for the future? We asked our customers as well, and we're well underway, so we've got like 15 minutes left and some interesting topics to talk about. So one interesting topic that we're seeing, that's the rather simple presentation of it, are configuration tools. There are more configuration tools. That's one of the rather boring examples. This configuration tool is very simple, very target-oriented, 5 steps to prepare your cabinet body. But that's a rather outdated version. There are up-to-date versions which have different presentations. This is, for example, something that is exciting to the new consumer. Made to order, made to measure, that's what you can order on this page with this modular shelf system. You have a modular system where you can individualize your system. You can change the size, add different swings to the different forms to the individual shelf system, and later on you have an individualized product with different colors. Of course, there's a certain price, but the question is, we have players on the market who are entering the market who have the entire production process to offer. They have the know-how in the production, they have the design know-how for a very specific product, and they have a virtual integration down to the end consumer. And in the furniture industry, this hasn't existed in the past, apart from IKEA, who know this process at a different scale. This for a very specific product. But it's not a rare case anymore. That we can find this on the market more and more often. This market, office furniture, for example, has been working with this for years. They've presented their data differently and are now preparing and offering it to their customers. They do entire office planning, and the furniture market in itself is not up to date yet. So one important point, data, that's what we need. Möbel.de is now preparing a PIM system where we're enriching data. We can only work with the data that we get from the online shop or the producer, and that's often little information to really process it. And someone who's entered the market later on starts thinking from a different stage, at a different level. They think about digitalization. They already think about, when I develop a certain product, what do I have to take into account? That's something about the customer journey as well, the experience the customer has when buying a furniture. So the furniture industry still has to catch up with this development and take price second and really focus on customization. Gerd developed this presentation, but some of our customers are very successful with this approach. And this wish for individuality, that's important as well. Let's take a further look at this bench, for example. It takes a lot of professionality, data and customer management. I'm never sure how to say MICS, but they're one step ahead. They don't have one category. They don't have only shelves, but stools and benches as well. And you can, or this table, for example, you can choose the surface, you can choose the bases, you can choose drawers, colors. I can use my own configurations, which is then delivered to me. So the question is, can I enter a shop where I can choose from a standard set of furniture, or should I go to a page where I configure my own furniture? Another example, or this one as well, shelves to hang up on the wall. They're very modern as well. A 3D presentation. Trick the consumer to give their address as well, their contact data. These are just some examples that can show that some companies are able to prepare the right data for the customer. So configuration tools, we surveyed that in our survey as well. We have configurators and asked our consumers, do they want to use configuration tools online or offline? Online, most of the people say yes, and offline, most of the people say no. I don't want to have a configuration tool. We thought it would have been possible. We have to question this point further, but there'll be some room for interpretation. I think it will be important in the future to take a closer look, to focus on the consumer of our doings, whether it's online or offline. I think the physical store has more opportunities to really focus on the customer, because the customer will be there in person. And once you present the configuration tools and show the different variants of a furniture and start playing this with the customer, they'll definitely be able to impress and create an experience for the customer. And there won't be much room to cover until they get a contract. So offline, it's already been done for some time, and I think it's been done very successfully. And we'll see a couple of information on this. So a survey on our part. So augmented reality, is that a key to future online shopping for furniture? So I'd like to ask a question that we asked in our survey as well. Do you have experience with augmented reality? Have you used augmented reality? Please, a show of hands. I thought we've achieved an 80%. That was probably 50, 60%. Okay, let's take a look at our survey. We thought it must be higher than in our survey, but in our survey, there were around 10% of the people who said they were familiar with augmented reality in a personal contact. Let's take at the other side. Half of the people have never really heard about augmented reality. It's totally unknown to them. So the question is, whose fault is it? It's us, is it? Well, it's a topic. It is there. It does work. For many furniture companies, it's reality. They're already working with it. They've discovered it. Cologne, for example, they've already been using it for consumers, for customers, to show it how you do 3D planning. How do you do it with the goggles? But it's sad that it was produced for the market, that the market has not been in touch with it yet, hasn't accepted it yet, or hasn't had contact about that it's not enough, doesn't get enough information via written texts. I think we'll have to do more on this. In the keynote, we've just learned that a lot of topics can gain impetus over a short space of time and will then be accessible for a lot of people. And I think we're just at the start of it. But the furniture industry, IKEA, for example, in 2013 has been using augmented reality. So since 2013, they've been using it, and in 2017 they started the new Play app. I probably have to click on it.
Hey, IKEA would like everyone to know about Place, our new augmented reality app. Built on Apple's new AR kit, you can easily place true-to-scale 3D models of IKEA furniture in your place. Scan, browse, select, move, and place. So that could mean less of this. And less of this. And probably more of this. We want to make it easier for people everywhere to imagine a better place. Share this place and this place. Try place in your place.
So it does work. The quality is really good as well. So their advantage, what it makes it easier for IKEA than anyone else, is that IKEA designs the product, produces it, and sells it on. All other furniture shops or retailers only sell the products. So a lot of ground has to be covered still to improve the communication between the brand and the producer and the retailer. They have to work together better to see what can they do, how can they make it an experience, and how can they produce such a tool beyond brands, for example, and make it available to the retailer to be able to show the customer how furniture work. IKEA does have an advantage here because they do everything from A to Z. And we have no bigger player with this degree of integration. So we now have to speed it up, have to jump through the slides. So we've heard about AR. We also took a look at virtual reality, VR. Is it still a dream of the future? Well, to be in short, it is not. Kitchen planning has been done on 3D models for the last 15 years. So the question is, what held us from using goggles, for example? That's 3D data. We could use it for goggles as well on very different issues. And since last year, IKEA has been using it. We thought you could think we're being paid by IKEA, but they're very early on. They're spearheading the development. They're doing exactly that. They're using a 3D kitchen using goggles to introduce these new tools and get the experience. So the question is low-end or high-end. We believe both of the tools are important. So we have low cost in one area with a cardboard, and where I get a link to my mobile phone and I can use the 3D model and look at it at home with these low-cost goggles. And nobody's easier than that, but nobody's really doing it. Then high quality, it's still too expensive. Nobody really has this equipment, but it will probably be something as a consultation tool at the point of sale. We'll have to wait for the developments to come, but we believe that these will be the two tendencies that we're going to see. This is just one example from Hong Kong, a startup. We'll have to jump ahead, but they are being a startup on virtual reality using for furniture, where the person uses how it could be used, that you place a table in your living room. And this will be maybe a dream of the future still. Another question that we asked, can you imagine to use VR and AR? Well, online, people don't see this as an option, but in business they do, in the retail shops. So we believe that customers want to be taken by the hand. They want to see this in consultation talk with a sales assistant when buying a furniture. So I think that's it. Probably to sum it up, one view ahead. That's what we've already spoken about. The two of us believe, and when we prepared the presentation, we believe that you need to work online to be strong on offline as well. So we are online, of course, but we're online specialists. But not only because of that, we strongly believe that those who want to be successful need to work online. They must be visible online. Otherwise, they'll have difficulty to sell offline as well. It's not about creating your new online shop, but to be present online, to strengthen your offline shop to a physical shop. The whole marketing of retailers, of brands, has to be rethought, to be at the pulse of time and be there where the consumer is. So those who want to buy the products later are the consumers, and we need to take them by the hand and get them where we want to sell our products. So these are some hypotheses that we drew from the survey, summed it up, and you can see them here. I don't want to go into detail, but if you want to read the survey in detail, we'll present it with the analysis, our opinion on it, with all the figures, what we believe can, how the figures can be analyzed. That will be published by the end of May. We're still crunching numbers and writing and analyzing, but you can either use our website, hmmh, or you can register for the newsletter. Those who want to register for the newsletter will also get the net message once we publish the study by the end of May. So it's free of charge. It will be available free of charge. Anybody who registers will get the new study. If you have any questions, do we have enough time for that? Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the good presentation. A round of applause. I think we could get one question. And as long as you're here on stage, and otherwise people will be able to meet you later. So I'm from Ireland. My German might not be that good, but I've got a question. So the delivery side, so the delivery time, has it changed for mobile? Is there less delivery time now compared to years ago? Well, logistics is an issue. Delivery times, they're still at the starting point, and the furniture producer often produces ahead. They don't get a lot of furniture, don't have them in storage, they don't have it in their inventory levels, but will produce it once ordered. So there are about 4 to 6 years of delivery time. We haven't gained any speed here compared to a couple of years ago. I believe logistics has to be rethought. In terms of logistics, there's a lot of room for maneuver still. We're still at the starting point in the small sale, but in big furniture sale as well. There's still some room for maneuver. I hope that's enough as an answer. So online furniture is definitely driving delivery times, because the more people buy furniture online, the faster the expectations will grow as well to get delivery times of 1 to 2 weeks.